1 Chronicles Chapter 26. The following were the divisions of the gatekeepers from the Korahites: Meshelemiah son of Kor, one of the sons of Asaph. Meshelemiah had sons: Zechariah the firstborn, Jediael the second, Zebediah the third, Jathniel the fourth, Elam the fifth, Jehonanan the sixth, and Eliahoenai the seventh. Obed-Edom also had sons: Shemaiah the firstborn, Jehozabad the second, Joah the third, Sakar the fourth, Nethanel the fifth, Amiel the sixth, Issachar the seventh, and Peulathai the eighth, for God blessed him. Also to his son Shemaiah were born sons who ruled their ancestral families because they were strong, capable men. Shemaiah's sons: Othni, Raphael, Obed, and Elzabad. His relatives, Elihu and Semachiah, were also capable men. All of these were among the sons of Obed-Edom with their sons and relatives. They were capable men with strength for the work. 62 from Obed-Edom. Meshelemiah also had sons and relatives who were capable men. 18. Hosha from the Merarites also had sons: Shimri the first, although he was not the firstborn. His father had appointed him as the first. Hilkiah the second, Tabaliah the third, and Zechariah the fourth. The sons and relatives of Hosha were 13 in all. These divisions of the gatekeepers, under their leading men, had duties for ministering in the Lord's temple, just as their relatives did. They cast lots for each temple gate according to their ancestral families, young and old alike. The lot for the east fell to Shelemiah. They cast lots also for his son Zechariah, a prudent counselor, and his lot came out for the north. Obed-Edom's came out for the south, and to his sons was allotted the storehouse. For Shuppim and Hosah it came out for the west, at the gate of Shalaketh on the ascending road. Guard corresponded to guard. On the east there were 6 Levites each day, on the north 4 each day, on the south 4 each day, as well as 2 and 2 at the storehouse. And for the colonnade on the west there were 4 at the road and 2 at the colonnade. These were the divisions of the gatekeepers among the Korahites and the sons of Merari. And of the Levites, Ahijah had charge of the treasuries of the house of God and the treasuries of the dedicated gifts. The sons of Laden, the sons of the Gershonites belonging to Laden, the heads of families belonging to Laden the Gershonite, Jehieli. The sons of Jehieli, Zetham and his brother Joel, were in charge of the treasuries of the house of the Lord. Of the Amramites, the Izharites, the Hebronites, and the Uzzielites, Shebuel, son of Gershom, son of Moses, was chief officer in charge of the treasuries. His brothers from Eleazar were his son Rehabiah, his son Jeshaiah, his son Joram, his son Zichri, and his son Shelomoth. This Shelomoth and his brothers were in charge of all the treasuries of the dedicated gifts that King David, and the heads of the families, and the officers of the thousands and the hundreds, and the commanders of the army had dedicated. Some of the plunder taken in battle they dedicated for the repair of the temple of the Lord. And everything dedicated by Samuel the seer, and by Saul son of Kish, Abner son of Ner, and Joab son of Zeruiah. And all other dedicated things were in the care of Shelomoth and his relatives. From the Izharites, Kenaniah and his sons were assigned duties away from the temple, as officials and judges over Israel. From the Hebronites, Hashabiah and his relatives, 1,700 able men, were responsible in Israel, west of the Jordan, for all the work of the Lord and for the king's service. As for the Hebronites, Jeriah was their chief according to the genealogical records of their families. In the 40th year of David's reign, a search was made in the records, and capable men among the Hebronites were found at Jazer in Gilead. Jeriah had 2,700 relatives who were able men and heads of families, and King David put them in charge of the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, for every matter pertaining to God and for the affairs of the king. 1 Chronicles Chapter 27. This is the list of the Israelites, the family heads, the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, and their officers, who served the king in every matter to do with the divisions that were on rotated military duty each month throughout the year. There were 24,000 in each division. Jashobeam, son of Zabdiel, was in charge of the first division for the first month. 24,000 were in his division. He was a descendant of Perez and chief of all the army commanders for the first month. Dodai, the Ahohite, was in charge of the division for the second month, and Mikloth was the leader. 24,000 were in his division. The third army commander, as chief for the third month, was Benaniah, son of the priest Jehoiada. 24,000 were in his division. This Benaniah was a mighty man among the 30 and over the 30, and his son Ammizabad was in charge of his division. The fourth commander for the fourth month was Joab's brother Asahel, and his son Zebadiah was commander after him. 24,000 were in his division. The fifth for the fifth month was the commander Shamhuth the Israelite. 24,000 were in his division. The sixth for the sixth month was Ira, son of Ikesh the Tekoite. 24,000 were in his division. The seventh for the seventh month was Helez the Pelonite. From the descendants of Ephraim, 24,000 were in his division. The eighth for the eighth month was Sibbecai the Hushathite, a Zerahite. 24,000 were in his division. The ninth for the ninth month was Abiezer the Anathothite, a Benjaminite. 24,000 were in his division. The 10th for the 10th month was Maharai, the Netophathite, a Zerahite. 24,000 were in his division. The 11th for the 11th month was Benaniah, the Pirathonite, from the descendants of Ephraim. 24,000 were in his division. 12th for the 12th month was Heldai, the Netophathite, of Othniel. In his division were 24,000. Over the tribes of Israel, for the Reubenites, Eleazar, son of Zichri, was chief officer. For the Simeonites, Shephatiah, son of Makkah. For Levi, Hashabiah, son of Kemuel. For Aaron, Zadok. For Judah, Elihu, one of David's brothers. For Issachar, Omri, son of Michael. For Zebulun, Ishmaiah, son of Obadiah. For Naphtali, Jeremoth, son of Azrael. For the Ephraimites, Hoshea, son of Azaziah. For the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joel, son of Pedaiah. For the half-tribe of Manasseh in Gilead, Edo, son of Zechariah. For Benjamin, Jaasiel, son of Abner. For Dan, Azarel, son of Jeroham. These were the leaders of the tribes of Israel. David did not count those below 20 years of age, for the Lord had promised to make Israel as numerous as the stars of heaven. Joab, son of Zeruiah, began to count but did not finish, yet wrath came upon Israel for this, and the number was not entered into the account of the annals of King David. Over the king's treasuries was Asmaveth, son of Adiel. Over the treasuries in the country, in the cities, in the villages, and in the towers was Jonathan, son of Uzziah. Over those who did the work of the field, tilling the soil, was Ezrai, son of Caleb. Over the vineyards was Shimei, the Ramathite. Over the produce of the vineyards for the wine cellars was Zabdi, the Shifmite. Over the olive and sycamore trees in the Shephelah was Baal Hanan, the Gederite. Over the stores of oil was Joash. Shitrai, the Sharonite, was in charge of the herds grazing in Sharon. Shaphat, son of Adlai, was in charge of the herds in the valleys. Abil, the Ishmaelite, was in charge of the camels. Jediaiah, the Meronothite, was in charge of the donkeys. Jaziz, the Hagrite, was in charge of the flocks. All these were the officials in charge of King David's property. Jonathan, David's uncle, was a counselor, a man of insight, and a scribe. Jehiel, son of Hachmoni, took care of the king's sons. Ahithophel was the king's counselor. Hushai the Archite was the king's confidant. Ahithophel was succeeded by Jehoiada son of Benaniah and by Abiathar. Joab was the commander of the royal army. John chapter 11, verse 18. Bethany was near Jerusalem, less than 2 miles away. Many of the Jews had come to Martha and Mary to comfort them about their brother. As soon as Martha heard that Jesus was coming, she went to meet him, but Mary remained seated in the house. Then Martha said to Jesus, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Yet even now I know that whatever you ask from God, God will give you." Jesus said to her, "Your brother will rise again." Martha said to him, "I know that he will rise again in the resurrection on the last day." Jesus said to her, "I am the resurrection and the life. Those who believe in me, even though they die, will live. And everyone who lives and believes in me will never die. Do you believe this?" She said to him, "Yes, Lord, I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God, the one coming into the world." When she had said this, she went back and called her sister Mary and told her privately, "The teacher is here and is calling for you." And when she heard it, she got up quickly and went to him. Now Jesus had not yet come to the village, but was still at the place where Martha had met him. The Jews who were with her in the house, consoling her, saw Mary get up quickly and go out. They followed her because they thought that she was going to the tomb to weep there. When Mary came where Jesus was and saw him, she knelt at his feet and said to him, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." When Jesus saw her weeping, and the Jews who came with her also weeping, he was greatly disturbed in spirit and deeply moved. He said, "Where have you laid him?" They said to him, "Lord, come and see." Jesus began to weep. So the Jews said, "See how he loved him." But some of them said, "Could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man have kept this man from dying?" Then Jesus, again greatly disturbed, came to the tomb. It was a cave, and a stone was lying against it. Jesus said, "Take away the stone." Martha, the sister of the dead man, said to him, "Lord, already there is a stench because he has been dead 4 days." Jesus said to her, "Did I not tell you that if you believed, you would see the glory of God?" So they took away the stone. And Jesus looked upward and said, "Father, I thank you for having heard me. I knew that you always hear me, but I have said this for the sake of the crowd standing here, so that they may believe that you sent me." When he had said this, he cried with a loud voice, "Lazarus, come out!" The dead man came out, his hands and feet bound with strips of cloth, and his face wrapped in a cloth. Jesus said to them, "Unbind him and let him go." Therefore, many of the Jews who had come to visit Mary and had seen what Jesus did believed in him. But some of them went to the Pharisees and told them what Jesus had done.